Anything interesting happen in your guys' lives the past few days? Anybody do anything cool? Or are we just all here waiting for the fucking market to go back up? Uh, no. But I hope everybody from Twitter, Telegram channel, everybody is having a great day. Back with another stream here. I'm just looking at the Telegram here. Oh, seeing everybody in the chat. If you guys are new to these streams, welcome. We do these twice a week, Tuesday and Friday. Um, Usually today again at 1 p.m. and then on Friday at 10 a.m. Talking about everything that's going on. Still pretty quiet this week, but a lot of going on in the background with regulators and stuff that a lot of people aren't talking about, but that we like to cover in the streams because again, this is the stuff going on in the background right now with the government's ready to buy Bitcoin with regulators. That's going to not only make sure Bitcoin's higher fucking 6 months or a year from now, but that we're all here, or at least the people that stick around are here 10, 20, 50 years from now able to build in this industry. So we do like to make this stream super interactive. So if you have any comments, questions, you want to say what's up, definitely leave it in the chat function on there. Usually the way we start the stream before we get into everything, I'm going to go ahead and we do a little bit of a review of the last few days with my boy Rotes here. So take it away, Rotes.
Yo, yeah, I'm back. The markets are back. I mean, I was here last week, but I really
We
wasn't.
back. We all back.
I'm feeling better, for the most part. Tail ends up being sick 2 times in a row. I think we're ready for the rally. It's April 1st. The market hopefully isn't pulling a prank and continues on beyond today. Let's get to the slides. It's not the right button. My bad. All right, so Bitcoin, pretty reactive to tariff news. Trump talking about expanding tariffs to more countries, impacting more countries, etc. We'll wait until tomorrow to see what really the kind of the outcome is, etc. Trump family has invested in Bitcoin mining, kind of this continued proliferation. You can see this kind of preparation that they are doing in anticipation of really an overall rally. You see things like Michael Saylor buying more Bitcoin. Just general, mid long is still so positive. Larry Fink suggests that unless the U.S. dollar and U.S. debt is corrected, then we could see Bitcoin become the reserve currency for the globe instead of something like USD. Very bullish on that, but also kind of a what if scenario more than anything. Gutter Cat Gang and Doodles both have some meme coin drama over the last few days here. Gutter Cat tries to release gaming token, really just doesn't take off. Some contract issues, this and that, everything else, pre-sale. Overall, not going well. And then Doodles co-founders, past co-founders, tried to kind of pre-run the Dude launch, and so not the greatest look there. I talked about this back in the past where it wasn't a great look to see Julian outed. Overall, we know the artists, etc. I mean, it's advantageous for the artists to be more involved, but Doodles had tried to be building into this kind of media music brand, and not having Julian there was a bit of a red flag. And the only optimism there was the token launch, which also I suggested maybe didn't look to be too optimistic for them. So as much as I like Doodles as a project, there's some background stuff there that isn't ideal for an organization perspective, and you're starting to see that kind of the cracks or fissures in the disarray kind of coming to light there. AI agent market cap pretty flat over the last 24 hours, down a bit from where we were on Friday at 5.88 billion, but just general kind of flat, hasn't done a lot, but positive in the sense that it hasn't kind of crumbled as some meme coins have done over the last little while. NFT side of things, volume up for Solana, pretty flat for ETH and Ordinals. Over the last week, though, we're seeing some movement that I think is really optimistic, a positive in general, is apes, mutants, and codas kind of be some of the kind of market volume leaders and price action leaders, up 5% for BAYC, up 8.8% for MIYC, and codas up 13%. We kind of seen this a bit of a precursor price action in our 2 month rally that we had prior to Christmas. And so, seeing apes move, we've seen some of the buzz from Good Vibes clubs, etc. A couple of weeks ago. So, things are still percolating on the NFT side of things. Looking optimistic there, and good to see that apes are rallying. A little bit more stable than they have been in the past as well, in terms of establishing a really solid floor and then slowly building up here. So, like to see that. On the meme coin side of things, really kind of a nice rebound across the major meme coins. That's mostly what it is. If you look at it on the weekly, most are still down on the week and pretty flat to where we were from Friday. But Pepe up 7% today to 3.2 billion. Fartcoin up 13%. SPX 6900 up 15%, and AI 16Z up just about 15% as well. But all down around 10%, 10-15% over the last week. Prediction markets has moved on to April. 100K is only at a 16% probability, which I find a bit interesting, a bit bearish, even though personally I'm generally optimistic for the next 30 days. And 75K at a 36% probability. So leaning a little bit bearish on the prediction markets, but I think generally speaking, there's still a lot of positive narratives, etc. And provided tariffs take the road of our legend Max, then I think we're gonna all be. Everyone here is not going to be pleasantly surprised, but everyone else should be pleasantly surprised. That's it.
Awesome, brother. We always appreciate the review, Rhodes. I am seeing you guys in the comments. A lot of great questions that I want to get to. Very active. We already have 436 people in here, at least at one point, 10 minutes in. And I think we started a few minutes late. So this is fucking awesome. I appreciate you guys for being on. If you guys just hopped on, we just did a little bit of a review of the last few days. Here we have obviously Rhodes, who just did this, for Loco, Danksy, and then Market Vet Max, aka Mike, here with us, who always gives great insight. So we're gonna go into the Liberation Day, all the other stuff happening right now. Get to your questions and all that good stuff. I see Iberman says, "Hey, what's up, Brand Legend? What's up, brother? Do you think the super cycle have ended?" No, I don't think. We'll get into memes. Brand, have you talked about eating? What's up?
Said it hasn't even started.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Alphabet. So, So all you guys' questions, we will get into this here in a second. I do want to get into tariffs and Liberation Day coming in 3 days here. This is something that we always like to touch on in the stream. To kind of start it out, because it's obviously something huge going on right now. Max actually saw something today, right here. It says the United States is going broke with the interest. Simply put, reciprocal tariffs should see countries capitulate on the tariffs they have imposed on the U.S. Pretty much saying how what you've been saying on the streams, where Trump is doing this to negotiate better terms for the U.S. because they've been kind of getting fucked for years.
For decades.
For decades, yeah.
Yep.
Now, what are we thinking going into to Friday? We are actually at the. I'm not sharing my screen yet, am I? Let me do that real quickly before
you do. I wanted to make one comment on the prediction markets comment down there. I think that's great. I'd rather see it like 50%, 75K, because the thing about sentiment and predictive elements is that once everybody gets on one side of the boat, it's not going to happen. So, you got to learn. You got to just begin to realize when you're talking sentiment and extremes, you must just automatically think the opposite. It's just that's the way it is. I mean, think about it for Ethereum. There, I think I saw a question roll by that. He's hearing Ethereum is dead. Keep in mind that the crowd of sentiment, crowd think, if you will, 2 months ago was ETH is going to new highs and 10 grand. 8 weeks later, it's dead and it's over with. Now, you can't possibly think both of those are true. And you can't possibly think that any market the size of Ethereum changed its trajectory from up, up, up to down zero and useless. You can't imagine that that would actually take place in real life. So you got to sort of get a hold of yourself a little bit if you buy into that shit, because it's garbage. It's just chatter. Remember, most people that you meet, talk to, or involve yourself in as it relates to any investing, including meme coins or L1s or Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. They will fail. They will fail. They will not succeed. So if you find yourself feeling like you want to be comfortable with the crowd, do whatever you can to stop that. Because in order to succeed, you will have to be different than everybody you're hearing from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I hope that answered your question, Crypto Wave. That was perfect. What do you guys think if Sui could have hit it on all time high? He said, "Do you think we're gonna go down?" Yeah, we'll address that, but I wasn't sharing my screen on here. But what are we thinking going into Liberation Day, Max? I know we were saying we did after the last stream head a little bit lower towards these lows. You still thinking the same kind of thing that probably Liberation Day around what we're seeing right now is probably peak fear for what we're seeing with the tariffs?
Well, put it this way: the way people have run out of the stock market and destroyed stocks over just ridiculously small items in the grand scheme of things, all I can confidently say is it won't be nearly as bad as everybody thinks.
Yep.
It just couldn't be as bad as everybody thinks. We'd already be broke. So it's so overdone. It is so overblown that it's becoming not just preposterous, but somewhat comical.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really like how you broke it down. I'm trying to go down here on your last newsletter you put out. You're talking about how, I think I might have gone too far here. How you're talking about how, the China tariff war or the
Yep.
China tariffs that happened a few years ago.
Yep.
Same kind of thing.
Well, what people don't realize is the China tariffs of 5 years ago that were going to destroy our country as we knew it, unquote, quote unquote, and destroy our life as we knew it, are still going on. They never stopped. They didn't stop. Biden didn't end them. It just, it's like, well, wait a minute, guys. I thought the first tariffs were going to destroy us. They didn't. In fact, just so you know, in 2019, the stock market was half of what it is today. So I'll tell you what I would be saying. See, what I would be trying to say is I hope we get some new tariffs about every 5 years, because it'll double the stock market every half decade.
Yeah.
That's the way you want to be thinking. When someone tells you how bad tariffs are going to be, then you need to get to the point that you're just going to laugh at them. And if you can laugh in their face, that'd be great, because you might teach them something.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, I appreciate you guys commenting on the stream. If you guys could repost, and all that, so we can get this out to more people. But yeah, that's super interesting. I think we've seen the S&P 500s kind of having a little bit of a bounce here today too. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting to have that stream here in a few days, coming up on Friday. But we've already seeing, already on the tariff topic. We're already seeing like Israel eliminates their tariffs. Is that kind of, do you see that as in like being proactive for the U.S. like what they're doing?
Of course they are. Of course they are. And every world leader is trying to figure out how to appease the United States right now. By the way, that never happens. The fact that the whole world is finally paying attention to the United States interests is good. It's a good thing. If that's all they do for the next month, then the tariffs have already accomplished more than the last 6 decades have accomplished.
So I think what you're trying to kind of get at is that like the U.S. is strong and the U.S. is at a strong point that the whole world is going to be thriving, type of thing.
Yeah.
The U.S. has to.
Yeah, and
Go ahead, Fer.
If everybody in the world,
no, I was going to say that
got to be, U.S. has to be strong. Go ahead. Sorry,
guys. Yeah.
I was going to say that one good measure to really see how the economy is doing, and of course, we're seeing with tariffs short-term pain, but is looking at the 10-year Treasury yield, Treasury bill. I don't know if you follow this, Max, but Scott Bessent has actually been trying to, really kind of like focus on lowering the yield of the 10 because it's a very good measure of how the economy is doing. So when the 10-year Treasury bill goes down, it actually it's a positive for the U.S. economy, right? Because essentially what you're doing is lowering borrowing costs.
absolutely.
And also that's tightening costs for the government as well. So it pushes, I think short term the tariffs, as we have been discussing for many weeks, short term pain, but it's gonna mean like larger, bigger growth, explosive growth later later this year and perhaps in the following years. So
No doubt about it.
I'm not concerned.
No doubt about
I really
it.
like to look at that one.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. Keep in mind, think of interest rate or yield the same way you think of gasoline costs. So if the cost of a gallon of gasoline is up, it is a tax on the economy because of where it's used. It's used everywhere. If interest rate yields are up, it's a tax on the economy because debt is everywhere and cost of money is everywhere, and you want that as low as possible. So you want to think of those things in the same way.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you need car loans, business loans, everything to go down so that people can start building again and really starting to stimulate the economy and growth. And so I just feel like that's one of the reasons why Scott Bessent has been so aggressive. I guess the whole Trump admin with the Trumponomics, with lowering those deals so that we can tame inflation and then we can slowly kind of like get back on the positive growth. But yeah, I mean, cheap money can always spark good stuff, right? So that's what they're looking for.
Absolutely. You know who I am, asked Max. What do you think about Mastercard building a blockchain-powered payment network targeting banks and consumers for fiat payments?
Fabulous. It's all part of the whole thing we've been explaining here. This is going to seep into our entire existence until the point where we don't even refer to it as crypto anymore. It's just going to be currency. It won't be what it is today. So trust me, you're gonna want to give your left arm to be able to buy Bitcoin at sub $100,000 a little while from now. I don't know how else to say it. And when you hear that, don't make yourself go, yeah, but what day is that? And what hour is that? And when will it happen? Don't think that way. That will drive you batshit. Why do that? Why drive yourself crazy? Just you either buy it or you don't. If you need proof because it's got to happen by a certain time that you think is right, well, that just isn't the way it's going to work. But that doesn't make it wrong.
For sure.
Just lay back, relax, and let this game unfold. It's unfolding all around you. It's unfolding everywhere you look. You should take all those little things and take them as as things to feel good about, not, well, yeah, but what about, what about this then? And
Absolutely.
don't do that.
Yeah, that's the number one thing. If you're feeling fucking stressed out and you're just everything you're focused on is a crypto Twitter, and that's why I think we really try to share these things, but focus on the stuff that's going on in the background with regulations and all this different stuff. And I know a lot of it, it's like, fuck, why does it matter right now if price is down? But again, if you just look historically on how the internet was set up and everything, like these are the things that's going to make sure that we have longevity and that we're here for a long time and that we can build real wealth and shit. And like Max is saying, like, focus on those things instead of, oh, well, fucking Ethereum's whatever, like, else is going wrong. I think that's what a lot of people are fucked with, is they just like look for what's wrong and look for whatever. But you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Cool. I saw this today, Max. Bitcoin supply on exchanges has dropped to 7%, lowest since 2018. That supply squeeze, or that supply shortage, like you were talking about,
Inevitable.
yeah. When prices are going up, it'll be amazing.
And just for a lesson, guys, we're all family here. Just for a lesson, when you hear the word inevitable, do not say, yeah, but when? Don't say that. That's not what you want to train yourself to start thinking like. Just when you hear the word inevitable, just sit back and have another cigar. It is just take it easy.
For sure. But yeah, Senator Tuberville is talking about how they're going to have retirement funds invest in crypto. Now, they're not able to already do that with the ETFs already?
No, they can't do that yet because the ETFs, quite honestly, aren't large enough to take. If pension funds in America, which is trillions of dollars, if they decided en masse to go buy an ETF, they're not going to do that. They're going to buy the asset. When they can, they're going to buy the asset. So what you want to realize here is almost everything we're talking about in these streams is unfolding around you. You don't want something to happen fast. You want it to happen forever. And forever takes a little while. Fast is perilous. You got to be lucky, and then it goes down. That's what fast is. And you don't want fast. Nobody that is currently in control of the administration, none of those people that are currently in all the top spots, that are all pro crypto, not one of them did anything in their life fast. Not one. Except they are all rich. This is the kind of mentality that we have to have. You cannot try to take something as big as crypto and what it's going to do to the world and the financial structure of how wealth is built. You cannot make that happen fast.
Yeah, I agree. I think it takes a whole career and a bunch of failures to really get there. Unless you are obviously Nancy Pelosi, then you can just
Then you can
do a few things here and there.
Yeah, when are they going to be able to track her crypto trades though? That's the thing. She might be doing it on some sneaky wallets.
She's definitely.
I don't think she needs to trade. I don't think she needs to trade cryptos. You already made like 250 million, no? Something like that.
I mean, dude, Nancy's going where the money's at, brother. I don't know. No.
Can you find her pump fund account?
You know what actually is interesting too is to see the I guess the World Liberty Fi, whatever the startup that Trump is.
Yes.
Trump's family starting, because it has a lot of positive but also a lot of negatives, right? Because it's obviously benefiting them. All these policies that he's putting in for crypto and Bitcoin is going to enrich them one way or another. So I think that that's something that definitely we want to take a look at. Hopefully it doesn't come and bite us in the ass in the future.
Yeah, I think it just it comes into account. You can hear me, right? Okay, I thought I was on mute.
American Bitcoin. That's what they call it.
100%. Where there's wealth, for sure, there's corruption and stuff. But I think if you look at everything else they're doing, like or like how he's really making it a priority, I think it more is like a legacy type thing, like what Max was saying. So that 5 years down the road, they can say like, "Look what we fucking did with the country." But who knows? I don't know if you guys saw today too that World Liberty Fi. I can't find it. I posted it in our thing today, but essentially World Liberty Fi was like 20 to 30% owned by Trump, and the rest was by the guys that started it. So for a while, it's like, yeah, people are saying Trumps are buying crypto, but if it's most of the decisions are being done and most of it's owned by somebody else, in my mind, it's not so much the Trump's buying. But today, I guess they took ownership of 70% of the total ownership of the treasury and the coins. I wish I could find it. But either way, yeah, so they own 70% of the total amount of that crypto, those hundreds of millions of dollars, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because before they only owned 20-30% of it or something.
Okay, just so you know, the proceeds from the GameStop debt raise to buy Bitcoin were just announced, and it was overfunded. They started at 1.3, they ended at 1.5.
Can you explain what that might mean to the audience, that they overdid it?
What that means is when someone, it happens to MicroStrategy all the time. Every one of their offerings is oversubscribed. So what happens when someone does an offering is they go to the market and they say, hey, I want to raise $1 billion on these terms. And then they get bids. And they hope they get $1 billion of bids at the offer that they made, right? That they want to raise the money at. If they do, then they close out the offering. But what happens when you're overbid is you get too many offers above your number. And of course, if people are going to give you the money, you just expand the offering. So you take a larger amount of money, and it's called oversubscribed.
Okay, gotcha. So now they have 1.5.
I think someone asked what World Liberty Fi was, and I think we discussed a little bit of it. But it's pretty much one of the ventures that the Trump family started, I think, back in September 2024. And really what the idea was, I think when they started, was to call it the U.S. Well, I think it was backed by theme that the U.S. is going to be the crypto capital of the world, and to shake up traditional banking. And so basically what the platform is really about is for borrowing, lending, and investing in crypto with its own token, which is ticker WLFI, and a stable coin, actually, USD1, which is going to be obviously pegged to the dollar. But I think you're right, Brent. I think I think he controlled up to 75% of the revenue at some point. I don't know if he sold some of it. But
I think what's happening though is actually they buying more now. Like it was 30 and now they own 70. So it's like they bought more of it, or they got more ownership of it. Because you're saying it was 75.
And obviously you don't count in there.
Go ahead.
Yes, by March, I think it's they've raised $500 million, but it says that the family controls up to 75% of the revenue of the entity.
That was a few months
ago.
That
doesn't count as of March 2025.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And they've raised $500 million, but also that doesn't really count how much they raised with the Trump token, which I think is probably in the billions, if I'm honest. But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's what it is.
So GameStop now has 1.5 billion to buy Bitcoin. Now, Max, did they raise this stock specifically to buy Bitcoin with all of it, or is it?
Oh yeah, that was the entire reason for it.
Gotcha. So 1.5 Bitcoin. Interesting.
Now, if he wants his stock to go back up, he'll have to use part of his cash.
Wow.
For example, tomorrow morning, if we wake up and he announces the number of coins he bought, and he says, "Oh, by the way, we threw in $1 billion of our own cash," mark my words, the stock will be up 25%.
Yeah.
The only reason the only reason it came down is they heard, hey, GameStop is going to buy Bitcoin, and they thought they were going to use their money on hand. And when you went to go in the market and borrow, well, you got to count that as a liability until you use your cash. When you use your cash, they'll pay him more for it.
Ethan says there's a lot of scams
Yeah.
going on in crypto. What is your advice for it to prevent this? Don't click links. Double check, especially double check who you're talking to every time you talk to someone. Most of the time, people aren't going to DM you if they have like the bigger groups or whatever on Telegram. But either way, just double check who you're talking to. Never click on any links. Don't sign any transactions. But yeah, sorry.
Another thing that I wanted to kind of like go through. I don't know if you guys had some other points, but perhaps you can pull up the Bitcoin chart and you can tell me what you think about it right now, Bren. I have some ideas, but obviously uh, we'll see what happens tomorrow because I think it's a big day, the Liberation Day, and I think it's going to be a lot of volatility up and down. But ultimately, if you look at the chart, I don't know if do you have it there?
Yeah.
Do you track Bollinger Bands much and the 200 EMA or not much?
No,
It's just like
I don't. I used to use EMAs for like momentum for when they crossed, but no, I don't. I don't usually use EMAs. I'm more with structure and like more other. Yeah, I don't really use any. What's it called? EMAs or
indicators.
indicators, really in general.
Okay,
Why? What are the Bollinger
because
Bands saying?
yeah, if you can pull up the Bollinger Bands on the daily, I think it's something happening very interesting. And again, this is just technicals, right? It doesn't really mean that something happens tomorrow and we go down or up. But if you pull up the BB, I think it's like BB bands. Um, I was talking with this about this with my partner, and
How
let's
do
see if
I?
you can
I'm
see.
clicking indicators,
Go
but
to go to indicate. Yeah, that's it. And then instead of clicking on it, go to the search. Can you search on the indicators?
that's what I was trying to do.
Oh, interesting. It's not allowing you.
Um,
Interesting.
anyway, what are
But
the
never
Bollinger?
mind.
It's all good. The Bollinger
So
Bands.
normally when the Bollinger Bands are squeezing, it normally is set up for a drastical move either up or down, right? It's not never really um, guaranteed it's going to go up or down.
For sure.
But if you look at them, um, given all the fear, when you look at all the indexes for stock market and crypto, we are not really at max fear, but we are definitely in the fear territory. We've been there for a while, for a few months now. So if you look at your kind of like, risk reward when the BB bands are squeezing, and I was looking at them yesterday when Bitcoin was around 82, opening the day candle, and now it's at around 85 with obviously news, very important news happening tomorrow. I think we might have a squeeze to the upside. So that, I mean, short term again, long term everything I believe is going to go higher, but just an interesting thing to take into account because I think we're gonna see a big move here coming up in the next 24 hours. So hopefully it's to the upside, but just we'll see about this on Friday if I was right or not. But there's already something grooming here on the trading chart. So
For sure. Yeah, who knows what's gonna? Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think all of those things kind of go together. The momentum indicators, like the Bollinger Bands. No, though that I don't use them, I think they in certain times when price is coiling up, which is what I kind of track with these corrected channels and all that shows up on those Bollinger Bands. And when you get consolidation and price coiled up, in those tight consolidations, that's usually when you get the big reversals or those big moves, like you were saying. So, who knows what happens in the next 24 hours? As we've seen with all of these events, when everybody's fucking hyping up an event, 95% of the time, it doesn't do a directional move. It either disappoints and does the opposite, or it just fucks around and just chops and doesn't do anything. So, I think overall, who knows what happens tomorrow, but like what we kind of been talking about lately on these streams is that overall what's Trump's doing, once that kind of gets sorted out, whether it's tomorrow is peak fear or whatever, it's going to lead to more prosperity and hopefully, the markets will kind of digest that and actually be a bullish catalyst. So, lots of fucking activity in the chat. We already have 868 people on here. Not even halfway through the stream. Love to fucking see that. We appreciate you guys. I do want to look in the chat real quick before we do move on to the next thing. Interesting XRP? Just want to let you. Bollinger Band's cool in 24 hours will bring volume to the market. Yeah. I kept wondering what's so special about it. People on crypto Twitter are often changing opinions, following the hype and scamming their followers. Look for people like Bren. Thank you. I appreciate you, G7. Do you still see ETH and the major benefactor from all of this to the recent move? Yeah, absolutely, man. Like Max always says too, is the stuff that's happening right now. Like I'm saying, it's very exciting, but none of it's actually like it's just all talk of it, right? It's none of the buying from the countries has happened yet. None of these laws have actually been passed yet. So absolutely, to answer your question, I still think that ETH is going to be the biggest benefactor, the biggest winner of all this regulatory clarity once these bills start getting passed, once governments start, you know what I mean, like these things start happening. But I don't want to get too off track. What do you what does Max thinks happen? Max, he says, what does Max thinks happen in the next 24 hours? I already know what Max is going to say to this.
I have no fucking idea.
Exactly. Yeah.
I will say this though. When you find yourself needing to know the answer to that question, make yourself step far back from the picture, like you're elevating yourself above whatever's going on, because what's really happening is nerves. Your emotions are coiling up inside, and your brain is going to overpower your actions, and you don't want to play that game. This is Look, guys, 95% of this is a mind game. 5% is what goes on outside and around you. You have to get that. And you also have to get to the point where you're able to, make a decision, have a perspective, and then stick with it no matter what 17 guys on Twitter tell you, or 6 emails, or some line on a chart. At the end of the day, no line on any of the charts we're watching is going to define why Bitcoin is $1 million. That it does not exist. No line. There's certainly no line that's going to define $10 million. There's no line, there's no Fibonacci, there's no cycle, there's no nothing that is going to define where this is going. This is a paradigm shift in every single thing we know about assets or money. So therefore, if it is a paradigm shift, you should expect a whole lot of it not to make sense. That's why they call it a paradigm shift.
Now, Max, when did it really like click for you that that crypto is going to consume everything? Was it years back, just kind of the last few years, or?
Well, because I knew everybody who believes in gold is eventually going to be dead.
Yeah.
And when the last baby boomer dies, there's nobody left to tell you that gold's a good idea. And when that happens, if it hasn't happened before, which I'm sure it will, as soon as we tell everyone we don't have the gold in Fort Knox, and what we do have, we're going to sell. As soon as that happens, none of what I'm about to say is going to matter. But if none of that was happening and the last baby boomer dies, the rest of the people left are going to basically have to admit gold is a yellow metal. And that's it.
Yep. Gold is a yellow metal. Bitcoin's the real gold, man. Appreciate the questions, guys. Let's see here. Let me see here. I have some stuff written down. Eric Trump today too. Did you guys see him on fucking talking about I don't know, on Fox or whatever? Crazy to see. What else? Let's see. Uh, why the comments are delayed? I saw G7 had a good question. I'm trying to find it. Uh, Gold is a yellow metal. Um, let me see here.
I got into I made a comment to one of Peter Schiff's dumbass remarks this weekend.
I did see that.
Did you?
If I pull that up.
Sure, sure. You can pull it up. Some dickweed writes me back and says, I don't remember exactly how he put it, but he said, I like how you planned the price you picked. And of course, the price I referenced was when I was 21 years old and I was going into business. And the guy writes something about, you plan to pick the right price. And not when it was $35. Well, it was $35 like 100 years ago. And I wrote back, I think I said something like, yeah, right. Good, bold statement. I planned it when I was 7. But obviously he didn't write me back. I challenged him to, but he wouldn't step up to the plate. Neither would Peter. I knew he wouldn't do it, but
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to say something back. I wish he would have.
Oh man. Yeah, you were telling us a few streams ago that you've been opposite Peter on a.
Yeah, he would have lost he knows he would have lost the argument. That's why he didn't say anything. But
Yeah.
it would have been funny to have it.
Someone said, so Max, do you believe in buying physical gold? I think we talked about this before.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Now that you have a better choice, I don't believe in buying gold. No.
Bitcoin, someone says, can you explain the CME gap? So just gaps in general, whenever the market opens up higher or lower than it did when it closed on Friday, it creates this gap. Usually these gaps are filled, not always, as we've seen with this gap on Bitcoin on the CME gap, like you're talking about, still tripping. It can be left open for months, sometimes years. Max, what's like the longest gap you've seen? Is there like gaps open from fucking 10, 20 years ago?
Oh, there's a gap open at
30.
NVIDIA at about $9.50.
Okay. So yeah, they could just be left open forever.
Yeah.
So the CME gap people are talking about, or at least the one, the big one in November. What is the CME chart called on TradingView? Does anybody know real quick? Bitcoin 1 or something? I don't know. Anyway, if you pull up the CME chart, there's this gap from November that it didn't close. Well, Max could, explain a little better, but pretty much there's a lot of people probably that want to get out there. Usually, what's the saying again, Max? Where there's trade.
Market goes where trade is.
Yeah. So like there's probably like a lot of people would capitulate or like want to get out there, which could, could create that bottom.
Well, what it means is a gap is usually where someone who put it this way, gaps usually happen at what I call in the market the come to Jesus rally. And here's how the come to Jesus rally unfolds. After going down a long time, anybody who still owns that market will get on their knees at the edge of their bed and they will pray to God and they will say this: Dear Lord, if you let this market bounce a little bit, just a little bit, I will get some of my money back. And I promise you, if you will let it bounce a little bit, I will sell and I will never, ever, ever buy it again. I promise. And that's why you see the first bounce of every long downtrend get sold very quickly. It's because all the people that just needed the come to Jesus rally. And then right after the come to Jesus rally, there are no sellers left. And that's where you get a gap.
Yeah. Lots of great questions today. Max, someone said, I have a question, Max. If I wish to own one Bitcoin at least with no stable income, how can I achieve it? I would say, again, like, yeah, it just depends. You probably want to get a stable income, but just overall, Max can say, I would say just accumulating over time, right? Max, just
Yeah.
not worrying about what the price is.
One bite at a time.
Yeah. Just not Agent King, just whether Bitcoin's going up, down, if you're overall, you have $1,000, $500, whatever, just over a certain amount of time, just buy. Because we know where this shit's going over time. G7 says, my question was about the Binance listing nukes. What is your opinion is about MEXC and their listings? To be honest, man, I haven't really been keeping up with any of that type of stuff with the newer coins and the listings and all that, especially right now. Generally, the way I see it, if you're talking about Binance or Coinbase, when markets are hot, being on those exchanges is beneficial. There's just more eyes on it, especially these type of new people that come in of this mass adoption that's going to happen. Most of those people are going to be on Coinbase, Binance, bigger exchanges. So just being on there is an advantage. Like I think the memes that are on there, Giga, Mog, the few ones that are on there, once this whole meme coin super cycle or this meme coin shit, like the whole market picks up in general, just being on there is very going to be very beneficial or kind of a an advantage. So generally, to answer your question about MEXC and all that, I really don't follow too much about that lately. Does the quantum computing tech that we're going to say something first?
The other good news, yeah, the other good news is like, we've been really talking about stable coins here for so long, and I think it's so important to notice that the supply of stable coins keeps growing. And like I think Tether Treasury minted about 1 billion USDT. And it's just I think there's a USDC circle. I think it was going to go IPO. I think that's what it is. Yeah, Circle is hiring banks for IPO. So what this is telling you is that this was in fact the year of stable coins, and people are putting capital onto the blockchain, not exactly deploying into altcoins or any other tokens, but they just want to have capital on the blockchain. And one of the reasons why I think it's so positive, you're seeing Pantera Venture Capital. I don't know if you guys follow Pantera blockchain, but they are targeting to raise about 1 billion for their fifth fund by June 30th this year. So that's their closing date. They're trying to raise $1 billion, and I think most of it is going to come from institutional investors that have a lot of like stable coins on the sidelines, and they don't really know what to deploy it in. So just some good news overall to see, venture capital funds, especially crypto funds, raising capital again, because you normally only see that during bull markets, right? And when they have this massive fund targets, I think 1 billion is a fairly reasonable target for mid this year. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about that, but I thought it was a good headline.
For sure. Yeah, I think more money obviously in stables on chain in general is good, and it's just going to be like the credit what's it called, credit market that you guys were talking about, but on chain. Let me see.
Yeah, so but Pantera will raise capital perhaps via stable coins in crypto, but they are going to be deploying it across private tokens, liquid tokens, and a bunch of different projects. It's not going to be just stable coins on stable coins yield. So
also, yeah,
exciting.
Absolutely. I saw somebody ask about Trump's and their role in mining, and BlackRock, I think they were asking about, but I just saw this Michael Saylor posted earlier that the Trumps are actually, what are they trying to start? American Bitcoin. It's like a Bitcoin mining company. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yes, I do. And look, Bitcoin mining is a very difficult fucking business. It's not an easy business to run, and it's going to get more and more difficult. So I think what this is going to be is like actually going to receive some sort of like government aid or subsidies to be able to run this for the long term and call the Bitcoin that they mine American. I think that's the goal. But if you see Marathon and all these other major Bitcoin miners mining for like decades, not decades, but 15 years, right? And they are, now starting to do well. Last year was terrible for miners, but this tells you that this venture that the Trumps are trying to do is mostly for image related more than potential of like profit, because mining Bitcoin is not really a good business. It's a very tough business to run. So I imagine there's going to be some sort of credits or subsidies from their own administration to make this possible. Those
Yeah,
are my thoughts.
for
But it's
sure.
a positive, right? Because they're mining here, so they can call it American Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're halfway through the show, almost already at 1,000 viewers. Love to see that. I want to quickly, first of all, go ahead and check out while you're on Twitter right now, Max's Twitter. Just started getting active about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Already at 500 followers, soon to be 1,000. Putting out a lot of good content on here. He'll be starting to put out a lot of clips from these streams and a lot of other stuff that we're doing video wise. Also, check out his YouTube videos. Breaks down a lot of these concepts we talk about on here more in depth. Definitely recommend the media headlines one and the Feel the Pain of Fear. Especially, it shows about how over the last 2 or 3 decades, every year or so, there's some kind of a news events, whether it be tariffs, COVID, fucking Ebola, whatever it may be, to scare people out of the markets. And so definitely check out definitely check out his videos. And then for Loco, Rhodes, Danksy, with Bridge 3 Labs, been doing these streams with them for quite a while now. They got a nice little project going there too. A lot of smart people in there as well. So check out what they're doing there. And then we do these streams Tuesday and Friday, so we'll be back then. Someone says Israel has removed all remaining tariffs on U.S. imports, strengthen ties. Yeah, we went over that. Jup Frenzy says, Max, please, what's the correlation with stock and real estate value with crypto investors in Bitcoin? I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't know that there is a connection. I think you may be trying to ask about the tokenization process that is still to come. That's still brand new territory. There's a little doubt that Ethereum is being built as a platform to permit tokenization tools for all real world assets. I envision a place in the future where, if you're just think about it for a minute. Pretend you're a pension fund manager for the state of California, and you manage the interest of 56,000 teachers in the teachers state pension plan. Well, you'll get on a dashboard in the future, and in an afternoon you'll be able to buy part of an office building in New York. Well, maybe not New York, but part of a toll bridge in Idaho, and part of a power plant in Italy. And you'll do it all from your desk, and you do it in, I don't know, 12 minutes. And everything will be marked in time. And if you want to sell it the next day, then someone else will buy it from you. So that's very different than the way assets have been able to move around in the past. And I think if you can make some of these assets more liquid and movable and fungible, then they will not only get funded faster, but our economy and our society will advance quicker.
For sure. G7 says, are we also going to talk about NFTs? Yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. A little bit earlier today. Yeah, you're funny, Justin. But Justin Awards waits for you. Yeah, appreciate you guys for liking and commenting on the stream. Somebody's asking tomorrow what's going to happen on Liberation Day. Again, who knows what's going to happen day to day. But what I will say is the fact that it's just chart-wise, just strictly stuff that I look at wise, the fact that it's chopping down here without a straight shot to the low, I think honestly whether we break just briefly 77K, maybe close that gap, or we send from here, I think it's very unlikely, again, due to these consolidations, how it chopped down here, that we break the low just straight from here. I think there's some kind of bounce coming.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Pull up the daily chart, because I like the 4-hour too as a trader, but I like the daily chart more from like a macro perspective. Yeah, this one. I think so. That latest daily candle was formed I think the last 12 to 15 hours. And that was obviously after so many negative headlines over the weekend and Liberation Day happening tomorrow. Now, what you would see is if Liberation Day is definitely a sell the news event and you start to see a dump perhaps this evening, at least from my perspective, into the opening tomorrow. I mean, you're going to see a lot of volatility, but as what you're saying is 100% true. We've only been seeing some chopping, not like real dump. Well, like last time we had a kind of like sell the news event is one of those candles on the left side. That one was a massive green followed by a red, same size, not too far from it. That one, yes, that was the typical event that is like, okay, you buy and sell the news because it's kind of like a market manipulation 101. But right now I think that there's a lot of fear in the streets and people are not really 100% convinced if this is a time to buy it. But this is exactly how next legs really form up. They start with a little bit of like conviction points that are not getting sold without massive reactions in the market. And again, I do think that, a couple of things I track within the technicals are pointing out that this might be the time it recovers. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see tomorrow, right? We'll see this week.
For sure. Who knows what happens? But if it were to give us this, and I'm sure Max would agree, we were talking about with that gap, that if it were to give a nice move down here, I would not be surprised again if it gives us one more, whether it be a full low in the low 70s or just like a small wick or just some kind of move to close that gap. And then, probably move up. Again, that wouldn't surprise me. Who knows what's going to happen? I really, again, until it breaks like 94, 95, we could just keep chopping here. We could always make one more low. But overall, I think what we're looking at is just another variation. And again, give or take, could be a few more months, could take 3 or 5 more months. Maybe we get consolidation for a long time. But I think it's another version of what we saw in summer of 2024. Same kind of structure with this corrective channel-like structure where we get multiple lows and then some consolidation for a month before taking off, a month plus before taking off. Again, that could happen straight from here. Most of these channels, these corrective channels, have 2 to 4 lows in them. This is only one. But again, this is just one piece of data. We could just take off from here with all this consolidation, or who knows, get another bounce and then, come down for another month below 74. Either way, we just need to let this thing play out. But to me, chart-wise, again, apart from everything else we're talking about, this is very reminiscent of what we saw mid-cycle correction-wise in 2024 versus what we saw, a very impulsive movement to the downside in the 2021 bear market. Like we've established on these streams before, we're just in a completely fucking different world crypto-wise than we were in 2021 with, the entire world, fucking all these countries and all this. If we were to go to the 60, 70 somehow with some kind of crazy calamity, the amount of high net worth individuals and institutions that would buy that up makes it very, very unlikely that we're going to get that, any kind of bear market that people are. So,
yeah. And I want to hear Mac's thoughts as well. And when you look at the 2021, I guess 2020 to 2022 cycle, that was like the kind of like the 101 way to see a cycle from a retail perspective, right? It goes up like unreasonably and then it just dumps. Whereas when you're looking at the 2023 to 2025 now cycle, which probably will last longer, is really performing more like the US stock market, right? You have periods of selling and accumulation and then periods of expansion. And I think back in 2021, around 1% or 1.5% of Bitcoin was owned by institution. Now we're closer to 13%. So if you think about that, an asset that, out of 21 million totally Bitcoin that will ever be mined, around 5% of that, I think is calculated around 5% of it might be lost, like either in wallets that cannot be accessed or Satoshi, et cetera, plus the institutions that won't ever sell, or at least not in decades. I think you're going to see way less volatility. So I think what we're seeing is these little micro bull markets and micro bear markets versus like massive 70 to 80%, drawdowns, and then the same on the upside.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that I've been touching on and that we've been touching on these streams with you, Max, everybody for a while, is that very likely there is no cycle in general, like Max is saying. Everything's just like what people are trying to explain it. But especially now with the new buyers, like you were saying, there's a very, very good likelihood that, especially because we've been already seeing it with these mid-cycle corrections, that we just repeat what the stock market did in from 2014 to 2030 type of thing, where it's kind of more up only
Yes.
with these big brutal corrections to shake people out, like Max is always saying, and then continue to the upside, instead of, like you said, big up only bull market for a year and a half and then an 80% collapse. Max, what do you say
Yeah.
to that? You
Well, I think what we have to realize is for people who pay attention to all this stuff every day,
Yeah.
this feels like crypto has been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
Well, crypto has a lifespan of about 15 years now.
Mhm.
And there is no statistical event that can be proven, like a cycle or anything like that, in a span of 15 years. There's not enough times. You can't say, well, statistically it's correct if something happened 3 times.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. That if we all went to stats class in school, the very first thing we would learn is that's impossible. Your mind might build one up as though it's happening, but it isn't. This is all random shit that we draw lines around. That's it. It looks like it's a cycle, but it isn't a statistical cycle. All I can say about price is this. In the not too distant future, probably much sooner than you think, you're going to be wishing you could buy it for what it's selling for right this minute. Now, I don't know what that means in time or level. I just know that you're going to want that. It's just like right now, strangely enough, and I don't know how this happens. I think it's something with the brain, but Bitcoin has only been above 80 grand for 130 days in its entire history. I mean, it wasn't too long ago when this price was 60 grand. And nobody was talking about the end of the world. Nobody was saying, fuck, I guess Ethereum is useless. Nobody was saying, well, Jesus Christ, Bitcoin's only 60 grand. I thought it was going to be 190 by now. Nobody said that. So you gotta step back and ask yourself, why in the hell are we saying it now? Why? There's no legitimate logical reason to be running around these mental circles. You're just gonna fuck yourself up.
Yep.
It's a ludicrous thing to be doing, and you got to be able to just go, wow, this damn thing's at 85 grand, and soon it's going to be a lot higher, and I just got to wait.
Yeah. Everything else is just 100%. I think, yeah, like you always say, it's just like a way for people to feel comfortable with their buying.
Yeah, but the asking of the question, in other words, when your mind is rattling back and forth, you just have to know it's happening, and quiet your mind, and you won't stress out.
Yep.
You just won't. You will become more confident. You will become more stern in your position. You will be less. There will be far fewer things that can make you waver. There will be many fewer things that'll make you doubt what you believe. You just got to quiet everything down. And I promise you, you will feel better, and you will do better if you can do that.
100%.
Do you guys see that? And this is not related, but OpenAI is having issues with GPU capacity, and like their servers are melting.
Well, that
That's crazy.
that image thing, what's it called? A Jillaby issue?
Yeah,
Presumably,
yeah, Studio Gilby.
It's
Yeah.
driving people nuts.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Yeah, they're saying that working as fast as possible to get stuff working. But if anyone has GPU capacity in 100K chunks we can get ASAP. So they're really desperately looking for GPUs. That's crazy.
Well, one thing it does tell us, here's the one thing it does tell us. It tells us that the surge of quiet usage of AI in ways that we can't even fathom right now is happening right under our nose. And what'll likely happen is we will wake up one day in the not too distant future and go, wait a minute, how did we get here? How did that happen so fast?
Yeah.
And you're gonna all this bullshit chatter about, oh my God, well, these damn tariffs are going to destroy the world, or shit, it's going to kill the car companies, or God Almighty, we're never going to sell lumber and iron again. I mean, it's just foolish, dumb shit. You're going to wake up and companies are going to start saying, well, while you were being a dickhead and saying dumb shit, here's what we did. We installed AI. Now we do things much more efficiently, and we don't give a fuck what the tariffs are because we make more money than we used to. That's what'll happen. And people will wonder, why, wait a minute, why didn't the world end? I was certain the world was going to end. And then you know what's going to happen right after that? Right after that, the whole tariff monster is going to perish into the dustbin of history. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to find another monster that's worse than tariffs, and we're going to worry about that.
There's always another monster.
But you know how I know the market is also like heating up quickly, guys? I mean, like, have you guys seen I think it was like 30 minutes ago, after market, CoreWeave and Newsmax IPO'd recently, and those are AI related companies. I think CoreWeave it is at least. And when you see IPO starting to heat up, it's because people are really interested, not just on the space itself, but there's investor interest in AI, and the sentiment is actually growing. So it's good to see that there's IPOs coming back to the market and pretty heated. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think it was up. CoreWeave was up like 14, 15% or something crazy. But yeah, it's good to
Max,
track that. So IPO market's back, and yeah, well, perhaps we see a little bit of a cool down. We've already seen a cool down on Nvidia and those stocks, but there's just more and more demand coming up. Other thing I wanted to say, and I think Ben, someone's getting a call.
Oops, sorry. Cut that off.
You're good.
Ben was here last week, and he discussed the difference between AI growth in China versus the US. And he pointed out something that I believe is super accurate. It is that the US is tailoring AI to consumers mostly right now, whereas China is focusing on B2B. And I was kind of like thinking about it, and part of it really makes a lot of sense. When you look at this product from OpenAI, Studio Ghibli is mostly focused in ChatGPT. Even though institutions are using it on the enterprise level, they're trying to get as many users as possible, targeting consumers. They want to get, hundreds of millions, if not billions of people, multiple billions, first to use this, and then they can scale up to enterprises. Whereas in China, they're focusing enterprise level, which is a different approach, and they're growing as fast. And the other point is Tesla. I think the FSD system from Tesla, I think you have to pay a yearly subscription or whatever to use the autonomous vehicle software. Whereas in China, they're actually offering that for free, which is another thing that is actually pretty impactful. So I don't know how fast they're moving on their AI with DeepSeek integration and in apps like Baidu and all these other apps where you can use AI already, as well as having it already in your car for free without having to pay the extra subscription. So there's a lot of things coming up, and I don't think people are really properly valuing it. There's a lot of fear right now, but I think it's going to blow some heads this year. So we'll see.
There's no doubt, guys. I don't want to be rude, but I gotta make like a 5 or 6 minute phone call real quick.
No worries, brother. Come back whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, cool. Okay,
Take it.
No worries, brother. No worries. So yeah, while we're doing that, let's actually let's get started with NFTs a little bit earlier. I know there's been a lot more action this week. Rotes, are you
I'm
there
gonna
with
pull up
us?
some alts as well. Someone asked about alts later.
Holy
I'm blowing up around here.
Yeah, no, somebody's
Phone
calling me on Telegram.
calls.
I don't even know why I have Telegram calls available, but never call me on Telegram. Anyway, no, I'm just playing. But yeah, we can do alts too. I think generally right now it's pretty simple. I don't think we need to look at too many charts. Besides the few movers this week, like Fort, which we called in the Boss Man calls. I swear,
Is she hot?
I don't think it's a fucking dude, so I don't think so. Here, let me block this person really quick. Appreciate. Hold on one second. Okay. So, besides the few movers this week, like Fort, there was a few others. Anything else, Danksy, you remember? Fort. There was what's it called? There's
No, I
one.
think the meme coin stuff is kind of not. I mean, there's like some movers, but it's not like it's not an easy mode, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's Fort, and then there was one other one this week that did pretty well. But generally, yeah, they're like right now, like Danksy just touched on. While like it always happens, while the majors are correcting, memes, the big ones correct even more, and then the trenches or the new coins just go into like dead mode for essentially where a few coins there'll be outliers that run maybe once a day or once a week, but traditionally the coins that come out, most of them are going to go to zero pretty quickly, aka the hard mode. So besides this, there's been Fort, there's been a few others. Again, I'm not really touching any of this stuff right now. What I'm focused on, again, is accumulating the coins that have been through these massive corrections before. Giga, SPX, Mog. These ones that not only have a great chance of recovering, like I think as long as the entire market recovers, almost 0% chance that these ones don't recover, even though they're down so much. Again, based on every other time that this has happened, the majors correct hard, and then the memes, Mog, SPX, Giga correct fucking 50 to 90%. So these are the ones I've been accumulating. I don't see the need again to really send so much of your money at these very low probability opportunities in the new ones when you can just buy these coins, throw a dart, and buy these coins that are very established but are down 70 or 80%. Have a bit of patience. And once they do go back up, for example, Mog, which everybody knows Mog, it's like the fucking one of the most popular coins out there, is down 80, 90%. That's a 10x just to back to all-time highs if and when it does go back there. So meme coin wise for me, that's what I recommend people do. Take that money that you have, and if it's not Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, is DCA into these proven coins, because once they do go up, not only great risk to reward, but you're going to get a fuck ton of gains for buying during this uncertainty.
You guys know why the BNB? It's kind of like the BNB meta right now, or like why so many coins on Binance pumping. Any alpha there?
I don't know, maybe why I think CZ kind of was putting more attention on it like a few months ago, and then it kind of caught. I know this coin Fort, I don't know what the deal is with like backing or whatever, but this is getting a ton of everybody kind of talking about it. I don't know. You see in these, like we saw it with Sui as well. You saw once it kind of got hot, there was like these really strong movers, like what's it called, Lofi. So who knows? I don't know if the BSC thing will continue. Generally, my bet is on the Sol ETH coins that have been around for 6 months to a year. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know why these ones have been going so hard. Let me see in the chat real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I've been asking Brent for BNB for a while. Haven't gotten a reply. You mean BNB, the coin itself? I think BNB is just going to continue to do well with Binance's dominance and how they survived the crisis they had last year. I expect BNB to just continue higher over time. I have high hope on Sui. Yeah. So yeah, really for me, I think it's not. We don't need to spend too much time on memes and alts right now, unless somebody has like a coin they specifically want me to pull up.
Long Farcoin, baby. Long Farcoin.
Yeah, no, I love Fart right now too. I've been buying.
It's really the number one indicator of crypto health. It's literally
Yeah,
outperforming Solana right now, and of course, but
yeah. I really like how it
yeah.
consolidated after this big ass correction, 90%. I think with the overall market, Fartcoin will do very well. It's that kind of the AI slash cult kind of hybrid coin. I like it a lot. I think it's gonna go into the multiple billions, and we're gonna see not only these coins again, Fartcoin, Mog, SPX, Giga recover, but what happens during these big corrections, that supply goes into these stronger, more conviction like people that aren't selling a fuck ton on the way up. They're the diamond hand motherfuckers, and that's why usually these coins that go through 90% corrections, they're able to sustain the 4 or 5, you know, hopefully 10 like Pepe billion market caps once things get heated up. So um, Solana might bet best BNB. What do you think? Yeah, Solana and BNB, I could see it go either way. I think Solana probably due to it being an L1, and as things go more on chain, I would guess Solana probably surpasses Binance BNB. But who knows? We're gonna see where it goes, Brian. Yeah, is low fee dead? I don't know, man. It's down 90, 95%. I think it could go either way. Traditionally, like these big movers on a chain, usually once the whole market comes back, they'll usually have some kind of run. But I mean, yeah, this is brutal, bro. It's like 97, 96%. We'll have to see what happens. Is Graphane also on your bet list? I don't own any Graphane. I think Graphane is one of the top AI coins that look like they actually had some type of tech that people were using with their stuff. I saw a few videos on it, but who knows? Like Ren said, used to say, look for coins that have been through 1 or 2 cycles. Yeah, Rotes, are you still with us, brother?
Always.
I love that, bro. Let's talk a little NFTs. You're not at the office today, right?
I am at the office.
Oh, perfect. We're in luck.
No, no, sorry.
At home is
I'm
where
at
you're
the
able.
office. The home
Okay,
office, I'm not at. Yeah, the
okay,
home
gotcha,
office is
gotcha.
where I have all the setup.
I have
So yeah,
stuff.
I'm a little less uh, connected.
Perfect. Let's talk some NFTs though, man. What's been going on the last few weeks? I know, or the last few days. I know apes are on a fucking rip. Usually, apes punks go up. Usually a sign for the overall market. Is that the way you're seeing it? A leading indicator, or what's going on?
Yeah, that's typically apes and punks kind of lead the way a lot of the time. Um, whether it's a general wallet sweep or overall activity that picks up apes or moves on punks, then you start to see or get that general sentiment across the board with NFTs, and it picks up across the board. So I know we've been looking for those movers or those indicators for a bit of time now. Past that December rally that we had, um, and so apes moving and kicking off is a good sign. It's a good catalyst. Um, Frankly, we want to see more, right? But NFTs a lot like Bitcoin. They're gonna move on these rallies, and then they're gonna kind of stall, and then correct a channel. You kind of see that with the apes on your chart there, where they've rallied up and then they take it easy for a bit, rally up, take it easy for a bit, right? So if you're looking for apes, you have to kind of move sooner rather than later. But like they're starting to build a little bit of momentum off of where they're at. They've kind of broken above that recent level. All really positive. They've had a lot of stability in this consolidation range at that 12, 13 range. So your downside is limited with apes. Um, I still think 30 is my target for them. Some people think NFTs are going beyond last cycle or et cetera, but I'm conservative at the 30 range where I think they can get to, which is 2x from where they're at. So if you look at the sliding scale, apes being pretty high price in general, mutants kind of
Pixie, can
in their
you? There
rally.
you go. I think someone had the mic on and it was like super noisy. That's
Oh,
good. That's good.
I didn't hear it.
Sorry.
um,
We're good.
Yeah, I didn't hear it either. But mutants, they're at a more attainable range, but not as great as what they were at 1.75. They've almost 2x from their low range, and they're at that like 3 range. And then quotas, I think they have kind of more the upside. And there's a possibility that they get quotas more involved, that kind of sort of thing. But they also pose some more risk too with quotas, right? Because they're really undefined, right? So if they don't get defined, then they're going to continue to fall. And as far as a collectible and PFP go, they're none of those, right? So, but the Yuga ecosystem is very interesting in the sense that they lead the way. Beyond that, I think Pudgies are the next safe, and then your operator kind of scenarios to move on. But NFTs overall, I think collectibles, etc. They've all been performing well beyond NFTs, so they're that ultimate digital form of collectability. So I'm still very optimistic and looking for general more signs. But I think that this ape breakout is a really positive early indicator. So if you're a little bit more risk on, I think this is a great time to try and push the button, with the apes starting to lead the way there.
100%, man. And yeah, I'm in the same boat. We've been talking about, maybe NFTs need a catalyst. I think overall, maybe they could just really fly with the overall crypto market. I really like how the apes again came down with this nice correction and then consolidated for over a month here. It's exactly what you want to be seeing. Big candle up here. We'll see if they can continue the momentum. I think the general consensus among fucking most people right now, like there's very few people who think, oh yeah, we're gonna see a second NFT bull that's anywhere near 2021, 2022. Well, understandably, when you have that first initial hype cycle, especially how strong that is, I don't blame people for thinking that way. But I will say, I remember back in 2018, 2019, after the big first initial crypto run where Bitcoin hit 20K and, everybody really started to hear of Bitcoin and crypto, same kind of thing. When we crashed from 20 all the way down to, what was it, 3 or 4, ETH, I don't know if you guys remember, went from I don't even know what it was, 33,000 or whatever it was, 20 whatever, all the way down to $75, which is a 98% crash on ETH back in that time. Same kind of thing. People are saying there's no way crypto is going to have another run like we did in 2017, 2016, 2017. It was for whatever reason they gave, we're never going to happen again. What do you know? The next crypto cycle, not only did we have another crypto cycle, but that was a cycle where the richest man in the world was talking about Bitcoin and Doge and all that stuff. I'm seeing a lot of that same stuff here. And I think the NFT technology is so important that I think we're going to say the same thing here. I think there's going to be another NFT bull run. Who knows? The Bored Apes get all the way back to 100 fucking ETH, at least in the next few years. I have no fucking clue. But as far as a lot of these projects that are down maybe a 5-10x from the high, I think, for example, VeeFriends or a lot of these other ones will not only go back to all-time highs, but will become very important IPs because of the strong operators, but as well as the importance of the NFT technology in general, making these initial projects from 2021 and the projects that are coming up now very important. So I would caution again, right now it's the consensus that will be no NFT bull run, but I really think there will. And I think, like Max always says on the stream, the only way you're able to get these really low prices is if everybody thinks you're an idiot for thinking that. So my whole point is, maybe don't go all in, like whatever, but maybe if you were interested in NFTs or if there's an NFT project that you really loved back in 2021 or 2020 that's still around, maybe sprinkle some money into those if that's really what you like. Because again, I think a lot of these projects are so cheap and so undervalued because of the lack of expectations. And I think really quickly, whether it be from GTA 6 or a game like that or fucking some integration from they're able to start a business with an NFT or some kind of big news that just kicks off the NFT bull run in general, along with the strength of crypto, this could pick up really quickly. And I actually think that's what's going to happen here. So really, VeeFriends Series 2, for example, I think this IP with what Gary Vee's building with the VeeFriends, kind of implementing his kind of content into these characters, I think is going to translate really well, not in the just in the NFT prices going up, but in the actual importance of the IP itself. So if you're looking for like a cheap entry into NFTs, like I'm talking about, possibly look here. I think right now they're like $150, something like that. But whether it's VeeFriends, something like that, there's a lot of good opportunities I think in NFTs right now, and a lot of people, I think NFTs they really enjoy once things ever do start kicking off with the community aspect. It's much different than meme coins. Both have good things about them. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't write off NFTs and definitely look into them. Anything else? Oh, did you see the Steady Teddies today? Rotes, I don't know how much you know about these.
I have not. No.
So it's a really hyped Barachain mint for like a long time. They're like
Mm.
kind of for like months and months. They're kind of like the most hyped up thing on Barachain, like NFTs for a while. But they waited a long time to mint it or to go out. I don't know what the mint price is, but sitting at 106 Bara. I don't even know what Bara price is right now. But yeah, I did mint one of these. I'm just holding on to it. But what is Bara even at right now? It's 3. That's not it. Yeah, I'd have to find it on Trading Viewer. Coin Market Cap,
Saying $7.
$7. Okay, so they're going for about $700. Some of these look pretty crazy.
Are they
Like,
steady?
look at this. That's one of them. It's just
How many
all
are there?
8,888.
What the?
Aren't these? Some of these are pretty kind of fucking
Just
crazy.
random drawings and
Well, it's
AI.
They don't. Yeah, they don't even look like they're drawings per se. They almost look like they're AI.
It's all different versions of this Barachain, Bara character, whatever.
Someone was quite high when they created this collection, huh?
The what?
Or in some sort of like, someone was in some sort of like hallucinogens or like
Oh yeah,
drugs when they created
someone's
this
on a crazy
collection.
acid trip with this one. Oh, this one's kind of fucking
Right.
lit though. It's kind of sick.
That is super sad. Isn't
So
that
what the fuck?
So they're taking memes and putting a bear face on them.
It's kind of cool.
Because I was gonna say that previous one looked familiar from.
Dude, the bear chain people
It's a
are
different
cults.
bear.
Never bet against cults.
Yeah, from your experience, you met some of them.
Yeah, I went to some bear chain events and it's insane. They're actually like cults.
Yo, these are kind of cool. Some of these are fucking pretty sweet. I haven't been looking at the chat here for a minute. Brent, if you have the rare NFT, how can you set the price for it? Yeah, these guys, rares are a little bit different. You gotta. There's a lot of times, rotes, right? Like a lot more negotiation or a lot more that goes into it. Someone says, if you have the rare NFT, how do you set the price for it? Like rarity number 1? What?
I mean, if you have a extra rare one, then you're gonna want to set it 10 to 15 times the floor. Kind of is a range you can shoot for. I'd put it in the higher side and then go from there, right? But I mean, a lot of the times that's going to be something that's going to move either when the collection is pumping or when it's first minted out. Yeah, I mean, take your W's when you can too, right? So if you minted 5 and you got a rare one, then I personally would be looking to exit the rare one, and take it at a good return. So, but you have to have some patience with that.
Absolutely. Jet Frenzy says, Brown, how long do you think before NFTs become popular like crypto? Well, it's different, right? I think NFTs, like we've been highlighting on the streams with Max, that probably pretty soon here in the next few years, whether it's the next year, 2 years, 5 years, hard to time things, that the NFT technology itself is going to become very, very important with RWAs, where people are going to put real estate contracts and real estate itself on chain, where people are going to be able to buy fractionalized pieces of real estate, through crypto networks. I think that kind of stuff is going to make NFT technology itself very common, where it's going to be very common with you owning an NFT. People are going to be a lot more accustomed, or whatever you want to call it, to NFTs itself. And when that happens, you have max adoption of the technology. There's way more mind share. I think at that time, it's just going to have a lot more people messing with these assets and messing with NFTs, that it's going to drive up the prices, like we've seen with crypto, drive up the prices of the important ones. And how long does that take? Me personally, I think there's an NFT bull run this year, whether it be in a month or two, 2 months, whether it be the end of the year. I think because of the developments we're seeing in both prices on the old 2021 projects, with punks moving up, apes moving up, the consolidation on the chart, what we're seeing with NFT technology being talked about with regulators, just comparing to other cycles bubbling up that I've seen in the past, I think we're all seeing signs of, again, strength. And does that mean that strength is going to bring us all the way back to 2021, 22 hype? I think it's possible. I think there's always a reason people say, oh, the last cycle, we only saw NFTs go that high because of stimulus, or because of this, that, and the other. When in reality, we always see in the stock market and crypto, markets always move higher. The strong assets always move higher, whether there's a big stimulus or not. Who knows? And if you've been paying attention, we could very easily start to get stimulus / QE in the next year anyway. I think there's always going to be stuff that pushes these strong asset classes higher, with or without stimulus. I think 2020, we're going to see another NFT bull run. The timing on it, I don't know. Could start this month. We could already be at the low and be moving up now, or it could wait a while. Who knows? But I have my bags packed again in projects that I think have good operators, and the capability to really go on the long run. Just let's see. What's the perfect zone to buy more SUI? I don't know what the perfect zone is. I would just be accumulating it now, if that's your prerogative, or if that's your signals. Could be GTA or some big company introducing NFT tech. Absolutely. Said, I feel like NFT is going far where we buy things through them when everything turns digital. Yes. And it'll be a way for people to raise money through buying, through starting an IP or a company. Kind of that's how I see VeeFriends and stuff. It's like the next big brands. A lot of brands are built through cartoons. They're built through a TV show. They're built through a blog, whatever. NFTs are a medium for a lot of these companies to come up and then turn into bigger things, which will make those NFTs, more valuable as that brand gets more popular, and it allows these founders to offer utility through the digital, the smart contracts. NFT has such a big culture. Will stay and definitely cycle again. But let's see. I believe there'll be another NFT bull run. Yes, so do I. So yeah, guys, not much going on the last few days. Again, we just wanted to continue to hammer on, the points of staying patient, and go over a lot of this tariff stuff. Again, this is what we want to be seeing before the end of a correction, just like we saw in 2024, just like we saw in this mini correction here, just like we saw in 2023, just like we saw in 2022 at the bottom. These corrections almost always end in apathy or boredom, where everybody just checks out. Everything on crypto Twitter just gets super boring, and then all of a sudden we take off. I think that's going to happen, whether it be here or after another leg down. What we're seeing now with everything calming down is actually a feature, not a bug. So we just got to let this thing play out. Who knows? Maybe Liberation Day tomorrow, we just rip and never come back. Maybe it takes a few more months. Either way, we just got to let this shit play out. And I think by the end of the year, but definitely in the next few years, we're gonna see a very strong crypto industry and market, if we just stay fucking patient. Dark says, yeah, I see it going really big to rate the NFT. Yeah. Who can influence the NFT run? Again, a number of things could, man. It could be a fucking celebrity again. It could be again. It could be. I think regulation and laws being made around the technology is probably the most obvious one, but anything could happen. G7 says, guys, imagine this space, this pace, how we evolve in these days. AI, crypto, the future will look absolutely crazy. Yeah, but the market is a little bit quiet. Yeah, it's very quiet. I think it's a good thing when Bitcoin's bouncing right now. We're not really seeing anybody going too crazy or screaming we're back or anything. Did you see the ultimate pink punk? Um, the ultimate pink punk sells for 100 ETH.
It's not bad. I like that one.
Yeah, it's pretty clean.
And that's where you see some of the rarity kind of elements go in there as comparison, right? Is that
Yeah,
something like that, even though it doesn't necessarily suggest it's super rare, other than the fact that it's a color coordination. Um, of course, I'm sure the pink eyes are probably more rare on the punk side of things, but when you get that kind of combination that is unique, you can see something like that sell a fair ways above floor. It might not fetch the 150, 200 ETH that the hoodie punks get, and even hoodie punks aren't rare. So you really have to understand the collection side of things as well, right? And that's what makes NFTs super interesting. Is you can go through and maybe not on Punk's collection because they've been around forever, but newer collections you can get some aesthetic NFTs that if the collection sticks around for a bit of time, so suggested like good vibes, you could buy them near floor and be able to sell them 1.5, 2 times floor, just based on the fact that you've gotten something that is aesthetically really clean or pleasing to people. But that's if the collection has some staying power with it as well. So that's where a lot of people had success in NFTs back in the days, that they hyper focused on a quality collection and then just bought and sold NFTs within it.
100%. To be honest, I don't know much. NFTs never traded. Yeah, NFTs really had a moment for like a year or less. A lot of people got onboarded into crypto in general from NFTs and stuck around for memes and everything. You'll definitely see them again on Twitter. It'll be crazy to see if there is an NFT bull run simultaneously with a crypto bull run. The fucking insanity that would be. But let's hope for that. That'd be fun. Guys, imagine. But yeah, guys, market's pretty calm again. Even though how boring it is right now. Why is the space is already not showing the broadcast on the thing? Go. I don't know
What
if
do
you
you
guys
mean?
know it. If
You're
you
on.
look at, I know we're on, but if you look at the actual post, usually it does this after the stream where it'll just make it like that when you have the tweet, usually the video is just like there and you can just click go. Here, like the broadcast not showing on there. Usually it makes it you have to actually click on the link to see the video.
Hmm.
That creates some friction
Let
there.
me
It's
let
all
me call Elon real quick.
yeah, it's
Figure it
weird.
out.
Usually it does that like 3 days later. I don't know why it's doing it during the stream. That's kind of annoying. It makes it so people can't click the video as easily. But it's all good. We'll roll with it. I don't know. Maybe hopefully it's not EV Mux doing that. I don't really see it with any other streams, but we'll figure it out. That could be a reason why the viewers slowed down a bit. But yeah, we'll be back again. Pretty quiet again, guys. This is what we want to see before these bottoms. So while it's boring, it's definitely a blessing, not a curse. We'll definitely be back on here on Friday. I was expecting to have a guest this week. We haven't been able to work it out, but I do have another guest, 100%. That's either going to be on either Tuesday or Friday. That has a really interesting story in the meme coin game from CTOing a very big project that we all know about. So excited to hear their story. And then, of course, more analysis and discussing everything that's going on in crypto as crypto consumes everything. We're going to continue to have these streams on, breaking down everything so that we can all get dialed before this next fucking bull cycle or this bull period. But seeing a lot of people still active in the chat at the end here. Really fucking appreciate you, Venom, Ethan, Jup, Justin, all of you guys. Again, make sure to like, comment, engage on the post so we can get it out to more people. And again, we'll be back on Friday. And before we get off, I'm going to go ahead and give 100 away to somebody in the chat. Somebody who asked a really good question, like really few good questions today. I'm going to give it to G7. G7 Jesco. If you send me a DM either on Telegram or on Twitter, I'll send you that 100. Again, I like to give away 100 to somebody who's really been participating or really adding value to the stream in the chat today. So appreciate all of you guys. G7, shoot me a DM. With that, before we sign off, I don't know if Loco's on anymore. I think he's off, right? Danksy wrote anything before we sign off?
No, make sure to follow all of us. Bren has his Telegram. We don't post the links anymore, but you can find us on Bridgely Labs and on Bren's channel or Bren's Twitter. See you guys on Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
With more alpha and more bull posting.
Oh yeah, we need to figure this out. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on Friday. And yeah, make sure to follow Max. Everybody on here, check out Max's YouTube, and expect more good streams from us soon. Appreciate you guys, and stay safe. Love you.